Hey, what's good, everybody? You're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks with me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and my co-host, Rebellious D and Trav. How you fellas doing tonight?
Hey, cheers, baby.
Hey, everybody.
Cheers. And just to let everybody know, we are reviewing Superman and Lois, episode 5, The Best of Smallville. But before we get into today's review, make sure that you like this video, you hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on the channel. So let's go ahead and get into today's review. So, this is the spring season finale of Superman and Lois. I know that we've mentioned up here before that somebody on set, D, had brought it to our attention that somebody had tested positive for COVID and they had to take a break. Now, my whole thing with this, D, is I know that you had brought that to our attention, but it seems like a lot of these shows, like, because Black Lightning is another one, where it's like, I'm just assuming that they're just taking their spring break, or do you think that Superman and Lois is taking their spring break? Because I know Black Lightning is not coming back until April 12th now, which is kind of weird. Like, there was no announcement or anything. It was just, they just stopped showing episodes.
I mean, it happens. I mean, I'm just glad it was convenient that whatever happened on set happened when it did, I guess, because they would have been taking a break anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely
the break itself was planned because they showed what happens when they come back. So they've already filmed, beyond this. I don't know what's going into the thought process of taking a break after 5 episodes, though. That's especially
they're giving us gold.
Not till May 8th, bro. I mean, that's quite a ways away.
Yeah,
but at least Black Lightning coming back in April.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry to cut you off, D.
Go.
It's probably because if you think about it, if there was no pandemic and this show just aired on the regular schedule, it would have came out in the fall. And so, like, right now, I mean, like, most shows, they do their cutoff like around December, because that's when they would do their crossover event and whatnot. So maybe that's why. Who knows? But I just know that it's crazy that they're taking a break right now. Like you said, Trav, after 5 episodes. With Black Lightning, I feel like they're just taking a longer break because this is the final season. So they're probably trying to stretch it out as long as they can. Because Black Lightning also ended on a very big episode last week. Yeah, it was last week when we did our Black Lightning video. But episode 5, The Best of Smallville. I was hyped when I saw the trailer for this episode last week, because we saw that Jonathan was pissed off, and he has every reason to be pissed off as we get into today's episode. But the episode, it starts off with we see Superman on TV, and like he's doing all of these heroic acts around the world because there is going to be a harvest festival in Smallville, and this is like one of his favorite times of the year. And he wants to share this tradition with his family because this is their first time. Well, not their first time in Smallville, but their first time around when the Harvest Festival is going to be happening. And this is also the first year where Martha isn't going to be at the Harvest Festival. And we find out that she was a big part of the Harvest Festival because, I don't know, but does anybody else have any farms in Smallville, or is it just the Kents, or is the Kent's farm like the biggest farm? So like that's where most of the stuff comes from.
No, they typically, I'm gonna go first. They typically do have, it's a farming community.
Okay.
It's not just the Kents, but there's no telling what the state of this, of the town is now, because obviously Edge is trying to buy everybody out.
Yep.
And he claims he wants to help, but there's no telling what's happened.
That's exactly what it is. All the local farms are getting ate up by the big corporate machine coming in is pretty much what's going on. And, the Kent's been in that community probably for since Smallville was made, which
it's one of the founding families.
Which a little Easter egg in this episode that they put in, which I thought was really cool. If y'all caught that.
What was the Easter egg?
The Easter egg was they announced when Smallville was established and the date. So they claim that Smallville was established in 1949, but that's the date that it appeared in the comics as actually having a name of where Superman came from. So that was a cool little Easter egg that they gave us.
Okay. Yeah, that is cool, man. Also in the episode, because Jonathan's girlfriend, Elsa, she's supposed to be coming to town, and this is going to be their first time seeing each other since they moved from Metropolis. And she calls him at school, and she breaks up with him over the phone. And it's like, Jordan, he had just talked with Sarah, and Sarah asked him to the festival and everything. So, his spirits were high, and Jonathan's spirits were low, and it was just messed up. And when they get home, Jonathan, of course, he's pissed off and whatnot, and he lets Lois know, he doesn't let Lois know. Jordan lets Lois and Clark know that Elsa broke up with him. And when Lois goes to, comfort him, Clark and Jordan, they end up eating pizza. And there was another Easter egg in this episode, Trav and D, where he says something about Speedwagon, and Jordan says, well, who is Speedwagon? And Clark says, never mind. Now, this is a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference, because in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in part 1, Phantom Blood, Jonathan Joestar's best man, his right-hand man, is Robert E.O. Speedwagon. So I thought that was a cool JoJo reference that we saw. Well, why are you shaking your head, D?
Well, no,
you're not saying the full. You didn't say the full name of the band. You're just you're running with this.
And on top of that, they've already mentioned, they've already paid reference to Speedwagon in earlier episodes before. So you just bringing it up now is a problem. You ain't a real JoJo fan. Then,
I've never heard any other references to Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
Oh, this is the first time,
because if I would have heard something, I would have brought it up.
Exactly. But you didn't hear it. This is
the first time that there was a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference, and I just thought that it was really cool. But moving along, Sharon, go ahead.
We don't need to move along.
Well, then take the floor, Trav.
So let's move along away from JoJo.
Yeah, let's go. Go ahead, thanks.
Gotcha.
Well, you got the floor.
Hey, Trav said we don't got to move along, so
I know, but it was the
yeah, I'm gonna take the floor, Trav. Trav, tag me.
You got it.
Give me some.
Leveling up with D, baby.
All right, yeah. Now I just want to say that Jonathan carries Jordan. Before we go any further, let's understand one thing. This man carries his brother 5 episodes straight, and he can't even have a drink. I'm like, damn, Clark. Made the man move to the countryside. He done lost everything, and he just be shrugging it off. The man goes to have a drink, looking like the old boy, the firefighter Kyle.
And he sobered up pretty quick when he came back for that apology. I was crazy. Like, damn.
Yeah, that was neat.
Well, what I was going to say before Trav interrupted me was we get back to the Smallville Gazette, and Sharon, she ends up showing up with Derek, who she hadn't seen and was the reason why she went to the Smallville Gazette to begin with, because she didn't trust Morgan Edge. And remember, she had that voice message from him, and that was the last thing that she had ever heard from her son. Now, when Derek shows up, he says that like he really doesn't remember anything. Like he was found on the side of the road, and like there were some people that helped him to get his memory back. And then he ends up coming back home. But from the start, when I see Derek, I'm just like, okay, this probably isn't Derek. It's probably a clone or something. Like who knows? But it was Derek. It was her son. And Sharon, she wanted to call off the investigation on Morgan Edge, which was weird. And Prissy and Lois, like they say to her, it's just like, you were almost killed. Like, why do you want to call off this investigation? And she was just like, well, I have my son back, so that's all that matters. And they're having like a community get together where people are donating like clothes and stuff to for the festival and whatnot. And Derek, he's having a headache, and when he's having the headache, he goes into the back room, and then he unlocks his quirk, which is heat vision. So now he's just like Leslie Lar, and like the other person that was in episode 3. But with Derek, I'm assuming that he wasn't able to fully control his powers. And that's the reason why he was having a headache. And that was the reason why his heat vision went off, and he pretty much burnt up the building that they were in. Now, when this goes on, Clark, he sees on TV what's going on and whatnot, and he rushes there, but he doesn't rush there as Superman. He rushes there as Clark, and he uses his ice breath to cool the flames and put them out in the building. And what's interesting about this is because he saves another firefighter. Mitch was his name, who ended up getting hurt. And Kyle, like he touches like a piece of the wood that has the frost up there, and he says frost because he's just like, well, how did this even happen? Now, my whole thing with this scene is that like nobody in that building was just like, oh, something like what happened to all the flames? Like they just all vanished when everybody was about to die because like the ceiling was about to crash down on them and nobody questioned it. But Kyle,
I'm sure those questions took place. We just didn't see them.
Yeah, he probably obviously he's like the lead guy, man. You know, he broke it down to the rest of his crew. But also the guy ended up getting injured. Doesn't look like he's coming back. So they have pressing issues.
Yeah.
You know, as firemen, yes, it was weird with the frost, but he was probably like, this guy's hurt bad. We got a boogie. So
we got a boogie.
We got a boogie, baby.
And also, too, speaking on Kyle, we get a flashback of when, like, after Jonathan dies, Jonathan Kent, Clark's father, and him and Martha, it's like they don't see eye to eye on a lot of things because Jonathan is no longer there. And Clark is kind of like he's a vigilante. Like he wears a ski mask and all black and everything.
They're looking like Daredevil.
And he ends up taking out these robbers that are robbing a store. And it was just funny because I like that when he was younger, it's just like, you know, they had the tube TVs and stuff like that. It shows our age when we see that stuff. Cause it's like, you know, just seeing like those older TVs, I remember back then, it was like, you were cool, like depending on how big your tube TV was. And, you know, it's crazy. Like, remember the big screen TVs? It's just like you had a big screen TV. It's just like you were the man. And like
the video quality on them were garbage.
Yeah, especially now. Like I remember one of the girls that I used to talk to, her family still had a big screen TV. And I remember when I would go over to the house, I was just like, man, like this is horrible. Like I'm not trying to, you know, insult y'all or anything, but
what you doing on that table, bro?
I was scratching my leg. I went to the gym today. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. All right.
I also didn't reach.
Easy. Try to be sensitive.
So
I also didn't reach under the table on camera.
So anyway, we see this flashback, and Clark, he ends up going back home. But before he leaves the house to go stop the robbers, Martha mentions that is Lana still talking to Kyle, and this goes back to what I was saying before about Kyle being the Whitley on the show and how Clark, like Lana was his first love. D, I'll let you take it away from here.
I mean, are we picking up, where are we at, Banks?
Well, we had the flashback. We have the festival, and I didn't mention when Lar came and picked up, not Kyle, Derek. So take it.
Okay, so we got the festival going on. The boys actually, you know, Jordan and his brother, you know, they end up. Hang on, guys. Whew. All right, so Jonathan. Okay, so we're at the festival.
This boy over here sweating.
No, I'm just. You talk so goddamn long sometimes. You can cut that though. You gotta pass it, man. Pass the damn ball.
Hey, well, this is what happens when I pass it to y'all. This is the second time.
Man, you know what it was?
This is the second time.
You take
Hey, look, I passed it to Trav earlier.
It was the reach under.
Trav interrupted me. Trav didn't know what to say.
It was the reach under. It messed you up.
I'm talking about earlier when I was trying to talk about the Smallville Gazette. All right, hey D, if you can't do it, Trav, go ahead and take over, man.
Yeah. So where we at?
He talks too long.
I forgot where we were, and the play-by-play episode breakdown that you do. I forgot specifically what scene we was at, bro.
Yeah, I'm following y'all. Y'all go ahead and do it.
Yeah, nah. So we at this festival, as D said.
We already talked about the festival.
Okay, then I don't know where we at, bro. This thing Banks.
It's too long.
But let's get to the good stuff in the episode.
Right, go ahead. I'm waiting on y'all.
I'm gonna break it down, man.
Yeah, let's go, Trav. Go.
You know, my homegirl, what's her name over at the Gazette Banks? Since you know everybody's name. Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
She done pulled the okey doke on homegirl, got the scoop.
Yep.
On the location.
Exactly.
And she rolled up on him like Birdman.
Yeah,
That's
you know what
happened.
I thought? I'm glad we came to this point because I actually thought she was gonna die right here.
Me too.
I thought that was lights out. She was talking. She was in a dark car. That looked like every horror movie ever made.
I thought so.
I thought she was
too.
about to get snatched right out of the window.
On the phone with Lois.
And hey, old girl already killed somebody with the eye beams straight through the car. So I was like, man, this is not good. I was actually watching that scene just waiting. I was like, damn, she's done. But
yeah,
it didn't. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Nope. She gave him the
got
scoop.
away.
Yeah. Surprisingly, but it would have been kind of weird to kill her off because it seems like she's gonna be a supporting character for Lois moving forward.
Or at least I would have thought something would have happened. Remember they snatched her up and they tried to transform her or something.
Yeah, it was very interesting that nothing ended up happening to her. How often do you actually see a scene like that where characters getting the scoop on something
And
or following the lead?
It works out.
When did they ever get away?
Hey, Iris always gets away.
Yeah, she does.
Thanks.
Who gonna be the leader? Who gonna be the leader?
Who's gonna lead the team?
Exactly.
Iris the leader. Come on.
How come Flash ain't on a break?
Hey, come on. It's the top show. Hey, look, they got Flash and they got Walker right now. That's all they got.
Oh, that Walker.
Hey, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Nancy Drew too. I
forgot about Nancy Drew.
I checked out Nancy Drew, and I'm not gonna lie, fellas.
That's a
I was
kind
of messing with it. I liked it.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess she's like some sort of like not a child detective, but she's like a teenage detective.
Well, in the book, right? I think she's a childish detective.
Younger?
But yeah.
Okay.
She's that's like a, supernatural detective type thing. But
not bad.
I tell you what, they got better CGI than the Flash. From what I saw.
Everything.
Look, give me 1 second, guys, because Superman's effects, that's why they're going on a break after 5. I wanted to say that earlier. But we got in the car. We got on the Banks train.
The train.
When I woke up, I was out cold. But it's the effects, I think, man. They're putting a lot of time into this show, and I appreciate it. They can afford to take a break because they've been giving us fire, as Trav would say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and on top of that, there's not a lot of Flash has a lot of action, even if it's not good action.
Yeah,
it's constant action. They use up that CGI budget real quick, so it's like they got to dumb down the CGI. Superman, when you get it, it's like top notch, and it's like
because it's more
because they want it to look good.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, something that's crazy is like I was thinking about how people were complaining about Justice League,
right?
The Snyder cut, where they were saying that there was too much slow motion in the movie.
Well, clearly there was,
and a lot of the times when we did see the slow motion, it was whenever it was a Flash scene. And
the whole opening scene was slow motion too.
The reason why I like this though is because the Flash, he's a lot faster than everybody. So
it makes sense.
So he sees stuff a lot slower. And I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. But when you go to something like the Flash TV show, a lot of times when stuff is going on, like it's going like that. And I feel like when it goes too fast, we get what we saw where Flash and Killer Frost when they were running around the city, and like it just looked like a video game. It looked the quality looked really bad.
Didn't they have more slow motion scenes of the Flash TV show in the opening seasons?
Man, it's been so long.
I feel like when he was dealing with like the Captain Colds and stuff like that, it was slow. He had moments like that, but now it's just like speed through it because nobody can watch him.
Yeah, in a way,
like the cheap way out.
Yeah.
No, just I don't want to like dive into Snyder or anything like that, but I will just say, I just think you need a balance of slow motion for Flash and him just zooming. And I will say there wasn't enough zooming in the Flash. There was a little bit too much slow motion.
Yeah,
specifically the scene where he saves Iris. That scene went on for like 10 minutes, dude, and it was all in slow motion. It is a little much. It is a little much.
Wow.
Yeah, but to get back on Superman and Lois, I wanted to bring up how Captain Luthor, he introduces himself to Lois. Mm-hmm. And
We got some more details.
It was a really interesting scene because it's just like he comes to her and he tells her that he's a reporter. Mm-hmm. The name that he goes by is I believe it's Marcus Bridgewater. And like
I think that is the name.
And he wants to help Lois with the investigation with Morgan Edge. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching this scene, it like Lex, not Lex, but Captain Luthor. It kind of came off creepy in a way because it's like Lois is like she was just trying to get out of there and whatnot. And
well, we know why though.
Yeah, we know why. Yeah, because she was trying to meet up with Chrissy, correct?
No. I mean, we know why he approached her the way he approached. Yes. You know, you're approaching me.
Yeah, yeah. We find out at the end of the episode.
That's a JoJo reference right there.
Mm-hmm. And we find out it's because in his world, him and Lois, I believe they were married.
They're married. That's wifey to him.
They were married, and so like just seeing Superman in this world with his wife, like if I could compare it to anything, I just started watching The Boys. I'm on season 2 now, and like it's like Captain Luthor. He's kind of like a Butcher, and he sees Homelander, who is Superman.
That's a good analogy. I like that, Banks.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like now he wants to kill him, even though he has to understand that like it's a different Earth. Like this is Superman. Like in a way, you could kind of compare it to Injustice, where this is the Injustice version of Superman.
Right. And Lex. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Lex. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Derek, he ends up being with Lar, and she exposes him to the X-kryptonite radiation, so that way that it can kind of help stabilize his powers. And to go back when she finds out where they are, Superman, he ends up showing up. Him and Derek, they end up having a fight. And Derek, he calls him Kal-El, and he mentions that he was resurrected and whatnot. So, you know, seeing this scene, it just made me think, so does she have somebody in her that's Kryptonian and whatnot? And like, how far is this going to go? Like, who are these people? Are these people from Krypton that are being resurrected into people, and they know who Kal-El is? And how is this going to affect him and his family? You know what I'm saying, D?
I mean, so Luthor comes in, and he is just eventually he gets pissed because he finds out that Lois is dating Clark on this world. And he doesn't like it. He's PO'd. He smashes his little Alexa box, and it's going to be interesting to see how he approaches this moving forward. Now that he knows, is he going to be able to control himself? He wants Lois as bait, essentially.
Right.
Kind of. He knows that her and Superman are a thing on this Earth.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that's going to move forward. Very interesting. Like I said, they picked a good spot to take the break. I mean, everything is going on. I'm fine with that. I'm not sure. I have a theory that he's going to end up. I think he may end up using the kids, because I believe he sees the kids too. Right? Doesn't he see the boys with them at the festival? He was watching them when she told him to leave, though. Yeah, he was watching them.
Yeah, because this was after the festival, and Lana, she had presented them with a memorial bench for Martha because of how important she was.
It was after. And so it was like the next day.
Yeah, and then Sarah, her and Jordan, it's like they decided they're just going to be friends for right.
Yeah, that opens up my theory too with Jonathan. The girl, his girl's out of the question now. She's out.
Yep.
I'm just saying. And then she's like, hey, she friend zone the brother. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Tic tac toe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Trav, you got anything to add to it?
Yeah, man. Something that, you know, we skimmed on past that I feel like it's important to mention, that he used to work for LexCorp. So, again, it's just a distant relative of Luthor, of Lex. It can't be a coincidence that they share the same last name, and he used to work for LexCorp. There's just no way that there's no relation between the two.
Well, I think the only reason why he mentioned LexCorp was to get close to Lois, because as we know, Lex Luthor, he was a thorn in Superman and Lois's side. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's easy to mention like, yeah, I hated this guy too, but I worked for him, so that way I can get in your good graces in a way. That's the reason why I think that he mentioned it.
I still think it's Lex personally, and
that brings up an interesting question too. So, where is Lex Luthor on this Earth? Like, is he locked up? Because it's like we really don't know.
There is I want to say it's Superman Red Son. Lex is married to Lois Lane.
Yes, in that movie, yes.
Okay, so again, there's just more things adding up for me to say, yeah, this is Lex Luthor.
I mean, it's a possibility, yeah. I mean, we'll find out when it gets there, and I know that the reveal is going to be a good one. Something else that we had skimmed over too was how Jonathan, he hates that with everything that's going on in town and whatnot, and just moving away from Metropolis, and he wants to move. He wants to move that closer to Metropolis because he feels like being in Smallville, he's a nobody. Like he's lost everything. Everything's been taken away from him, and he wants to move. And one of the things that he says to Clark is, why is it when Jordan wants to do something, you let him do it, but then when I want to do something, I can't,
right.
I don't have anything. So
well, yeah, we're talking about playing football and then moving away from your family. There's no comparison between the two.
No, but the thing too, with him wanting to move away, is kind of like, it's interesting, Clark's choices. I think he's kind of restricting him. He hasn't shown any abilities, and he's like in high school now. So if he wants to make something of it as a career, he has to make a choice. Yeah. And his future in football as of right now, what we know, it would be in Metropolis. He was a starting QB, bro. You can't compare that. He lost a girl. Yep. Yeah, you got to think about it, and that's why I commend him.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying
no.
For him as a kid, obviously, to suggest it because he's a kid.
Yeah, but he's actually pretty mature.
Dad being like, "Nah, fam."
To be completely honest with you, Jonathan's pretty mature for his age because you look at how he handled most of the situations, and he's always sticking up for Jordan. He's carrying him, I said.
Absolutely.
So it's just interesting to see where they go with it.
Well, so we won't know till May 8th, damn it.
Correct.
So something else that I'm thinking about too is, do you guys think that Lex is hoping to get with Lois in this world?
Yes.
Do you think it's a possibility?
It's definitely eating at. Is it on his
agenda?
Probably not. But is he going to be able to resist the temptation of trying to get her?
Yeah.
Probably not. What I mean? He's probably going to at least attempt it. Yeah,
this isn't corporate, boss Lex Luthor. This guy's a soldier.
Yeah.
So he's looking at the mission. Yeah, it probably hurts, but it'll probably he might put it in the gas tank and use it to kill Superman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he may even try to bring the family as a whole into it and try to. I don't think he would, but if he's pushed far enough, he might try and take the kids hostage.
Yeah, that's true.
He could take her dad hostage and use him to get to the family. Well, I mean, there's a lot. He knows her dad now.
Yeah, and I mean, Sam, he has his feelings about Clark now. You know what I'm saying? After with Captain Luthor provided him with that information. So, I mean, who knows? And this was one thing too. We didn't see Sam this week, so I want to know what's going on with him.
Remember, he's taking protocols.
Yeah, the protocols and whatnot.
And I mean, to think about it too, yes, Lois is his daughter, but at the end of the day, he's a soldier too. And I think his whole thing was to keep Clark close to him. Yeah. And then they got into the dispute. Was it last episode? Yeah. 2 episodes ago.
No. It was last.
It was last episode. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, I don't work for you. And they got into that little, not a scuffle, but verbal. Yeah. So it's just interesting to see how it plays out. And I think that was his agenda all along. If I can keep him here and working with me closely, then I don't have to worry about anything. But now Clark's kind of like, I'm not. He's pushing back.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, and then the episode, it wraps up with
Jordan. I can't wait to get to this part.
Jordan, he's walking in the woods. And
one of the X-Men came out of nowhere.
Yeah, tagged him.
Yeah, he was tagging him until the credits popped up.
Yeah, he was just like, he said, "What did you do to me? Why am I like this?" And in tag, he was wearing the suit from Cadmus. So
that makes you wonder how he knew. He didn't know it was Jordan before he left.
Yeah. Yep.
Now he knows it's Jordan.
Hey, I actually feel like Sam has something to do with that. You know, they already said, they go to a special school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. I think that he might be sending them out to test. Or he might be pushing him to see what he can all do.
It could be a special school, quote unquote, like in like New Mutants.
Correct.
Whatever, where it's really used to control you and
exactly. Same thing they were trying to do with Clark, but Clark's a grown man. So
now this is interesting, but do you think that Morgan Edge has his hands in Cadmus? You know what I'm saying? So
I definitely think it's a possibility. Look at the other people that showed up.
Exactly. We keep seeing these other people. So I mean, like, this was a really good episode. I feel like every episode of Superman and Lois, it just continues to get better. Yep. You know, for this being its first season, you know, I compared with Black Lightning too, where it's like, well, Black Lightning is the same thing, where season 4 for Black Lightning, in my opinion, has been really good, definitely better than season 3. And every time I watch an episode, it makes me want to come back for more. Like, I still got to watch the newest episode of Flash, and I'm probably not going to watch it till tomorrow. But I mean, you know, like, I watch Flash, and I'm just like, I mean, I know we talked about this off of the pod, but it's like with Flash, it's like the way that they wrap stuff up, and with the talk no jutsu and all that stuff, and the villain becomes their friend at the end. I'm just like, it's like, why can't they just defeat a villain and then that villain just gets locked up? I feel like Flash, like the big.
Well, they were doing that at the beginning of Flash. Remember, they were putting people in that.
But I'm talking about like the big bads.
I know, but they were still locking people up at the beginning. Into like season 3, they had that special prison where they were sending people. Yeah, and then all of a sudden they just got away from it. I don't know what
those were just regular villains. I'm talking about like
he ain't talking about regular villains.
Oof. Yeah, I'm talking about like Reverse Flash. He got away at season 1.
He always gets.
No, that's right. I'm sorry. He died in season 1. Then in season 2, you had Zoom. He ended up dying, and then season 3, Savitar ended up dying. Season 4, the Thinker ended up dying. Like the big villains always die.
Go away.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, the Reverse Flash is going to be a constant because he's Eobard. So of course. But I mean, I see what you're saying. They can only lock up the regular guys.
Yeah,
it's just they're supposed to do with the big bad. The Thinker.
I'm not a fan of the villain of the week thing. I like Superman building the story and creating.
I don't know why they can't just do that. I mean, I agree with Trav. But see, when they tried to do that with the Flash, the one that I think about, the main one that turned me off was the Thinker. I know we're not going to rant about Flash here, but it was just like, this guy knew he had an answer about everything they ever did.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just, dude, why would you want to watch that week to week? Every time they tried something, it didn't work. And it ended up being his own wife turning on him. That was the trump card. I'm like, come on, that is such a cop-out.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't based on their own abilities. It was nobody in-house Flash that was able to do it.
And it wasn't Iris.
Yeah, it wasn't Iris. Spoiler alert.
So I got a question. Are we wrapping this thing up?
Yeah.
All right. Before we do that, this isn't directly Superman and Lois related, but I wanted to ask y'all's opinion on the fact that the Justice League got fewer streams than Wonder Woman 84 that they already considered a bust. So this is like a
Snyder cut?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already knew that. Well, remember what my opinion and stance was. I'm not going to watch it twice. How many people do you think in the world watched that first one and were like, yeah, I'm good? And this one is not only longer. I just didn't, y'all handled that, and I appreciate y'all. But it's...
Yeah, I know. I think that's
that first copy was boo-boo.
I think that's the nail in the coffin, though. I think they're washing their hands of that, and they're just gonna move on and revolve around.
Have stripped all the stuff that he wanted in,
Dude, Black Adam starts filming in 3 days. I feel like they're gonna revolve around Shazam and revolve around Black Adam and just build off of that and see where it goes.
And this is the problem with DC movies in general. Is sometimes they just put they put themselves in holes when they don't have to. It's like, and then the thing that I didn't like about the Justice League originally is it pulls from different storylines from the comic.
Yeah.
And it pulls from like Injustice stuff. Like you got Flash running around in the armors. I'm like, people don't even know, like, it's just too much. And then the build up, we've all talked about it. Like where Marvel, they took the time to build these movies up over years. DC was in like some sort of rush. And it just isn't.
Right.
I don't know. And then I mean, when it comes down to it, when I'm looking at a DC movie, I'm looking at things like the practical effects. The same thing I do with Marvel or anything else, action, thriller, anything. I look at the movie as a whole. And it's like, why I can't figure out for the life of me, why does Marvel's quality just look different from DC's? It's like everything in DC kind of looks shiny to me, if that makes sense, like armor wise and all that. And I'm like,
yeah,
why is it so pristine?
Right,
I don't understand it. It doesn't look natural, and that's their problem.
Yeah,
I mean, I love DC characters.
Yeah,
they are doing it like their animated stuff. Trav, you can vouch. You have a collection. I mean, I have a semi.
And I just started rewatching the whole timeline too.
It's like their animated stuff is amazing.
So much better. It's so good.
Just like, dude, just send your animated stuff to the theater instead. Save some money. Send that. I bet you people will go watch it. I'm telling you. Thanks.
Yeah, I just think that it's like what D was saying. Like people, they saw the first movie, or they weren't DC fans to begin with, because you know there's a lot of people out there. It's just like, because Marvel at the time, like they were the more popular franchise, and it's like Marvel, like they have diehard fans where it's just like, I'm not watching any DC movies. So it's just like, it doesn't matter if the movie got re-released or what. They probably just didn't want to watch it. And then also too, with Wonder Woman 84, you got to think, look how many people purchase HBO Max so that way that they could watch Wonder Woman 84, and then that movie, it wasn't that great. It's just like, I would assume, I mean, because Trav, we've had the WWE Network before, and like how many times do people watch something on the WWE Network and then they're just like, I'm canceling my subscription? So
for sure.
So think about how many people bought HBO Max for Wonder Woman 84, and then like after that they was just like, yeah, there's either nothing up here that's keeping me around to, you know, wait for more, or I don't care about the Snyder cut. So that's the only thing that I can really think of. It was a really good movie. And then another thing too, a lot of people complained about was that it was 4 hours. Like on my timeline, like that's all that I would see is like, is the Snyder cut worth watching? Is it worth the 4 hours? So,
but dude, it's like y'all binge a whole show in one day.
That's true.
Yeah, but I see, Trav, but the difference is with this especially is, how long was the original release? 2 hours and some change?
Yeah, a little over 2.
Okay, but the thing is, these people already took the time and watched it once, and that's the problem with missing
3 years ago.
Yeah, but they don't.
It felt like a new movie.
But the thing is, there's a lot of people out there, myself included. I couldn't get into the original, but it's like you gave it a shot the first time. Most people won't give you a second shot. If something craps out, they're going to give it a second. If any movie comes out in bombs or whatever, or isn't well received, people aren't going to, they don't care what it is. It could be a Marvel movie. They probably wouldn't watch it. Maybe not, but I ain't going that far. But
I think Marvel's built up enough credit to have a stinker.
Imagine that. And they still have it.
Right.
And it still made money.
Well, people say that Captain Marvel is probably the worst thing they put out in the whole, but it's not the quality of the movie. For one, it seems out of place and unnecessary, kinda. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah,
I don't want to.
I agree.
Honestly, they could have just did the Captain Marvel movie, and instead of it going all the way back to the 90s to show like how she got her powers and whatever, that could have just been shown in a flashback, and we could have seen what Captain Marvel was doing when she wasn't on Earth. Like she was on another planet or something like that. And then she finally gets that call that she needs to go and save Earth.
Yeah, it just felt unnecessary. As a waste of using Jude Law for one. That shit was a waste, man.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think there's anything they could have done to make it a good movie, but they should have just waited till after Endgame to bring that character personally, and then really built her up into the new team that's around personally. They just rushed her in there.
Yeah, I think they could have done it.
There was nothing that they could have written that was
exactly. It was just out of place.
Yeah.
And the one last note on DC stuff is I feel like they overuse special effects, like CGI in particular. Like there's no like Batman, for example. I actually think the one with Robert Pattinson coming out is going to be really good.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be more traditional Batman.
But Batman's easy.
But I'm saying, like, don't take away the elements that make them sweet heroes.
Right.
Like, Batman's supposed to be all about the gadgets, the kung fu. And it's just like, when they brought it all together, it was like, it just isn't Batman to me. There's no batarangs a lot. What happened to the batarangs?
It's because we never got a Batman movie. That's the real reason. If we would have got a Batman movie, and like, that's the same scenario that everybody always brings up. It's like, we should have got these movies beforehand. So that way we could have seen our favorite heroes on the big screen,
Exactly.
but instead they kind of just got shoehorned all together into one movie.
Yeah, man. You have to keep.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why people don't want to give these movies a chance. And even going all the way back to Batman versus Superman, it's just like people were turned off by that movie. So it was people that saw that movie and was just like, I'm not even going to watch Justice League, because they were already pissed off with how everything was thrown into Batman versus Superman. So it's like they did the right thing when they came out with Man of Steel first, and they should have just kept on releasing movies after that, till eventually it got to the part where the Justice League was formed. Because even still, I still don't think that Superman should have died in the second movie. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, they decided to make the decision that we're going to bring in an old, washed up Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they brought in your actual Dark Knight, old, washed up Batman. Unfortunately,
the Batman
that was just a bad move, right?
I understand why they went with Ben Affleck, because at the time,
I think Ben Affleck's great.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Like he was winning awards and whatnot.
I just think that
he had directed Fargo. He directed that, so it's just like they was just like, yo, let's get this guy. But
but you have to build the characters. You have to keep it traditional, like what makes people attracted to these characters. Yeah, but you have to find a way to. And how you do that isn't necessarily shoehorning them together, but you got to build them up. Like they could have done a Superman trilogy would end up with him getting killed, and you bring him back in the Justice League. It's just, dude, I'm not a director, I'm not a film student, but I read comics, dude. You know, we watched Batman for years.
All we know is Marvel makes it work and DC don't. And
it kind of upsets me. That's why I kind of want to rant, because I love the Flash. I love Aquaman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know
great.
DC's better than Marvel. Comic book wise.
It has the potential to keep up, if nothing else, bro. Yeah. Comic book wise, they have it's just they go so in depth in the comic books. You don't get that when they start doing this stuff.
But see, and like the thing with Marvel is that Marvel, like, they're more, everyday people for real with a lot of the characters, whereas DC, they're gods among men. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have these people like more. A lot of people can kind of relate with Batman because he's a human.
I don't think so, bro.
But other than that, I mean, like, he has money.
Well, he's ordinary.
Yeah,
you
could kind of say the same thing with Flash too. Like, you can kind of relate with Barry Allen, but you can't. You know what I'm saying? Because he's super fast and everything. But you can relate with Spider-Man. Like, there's so many people. Yeah. Like and we need to wrap this up, because this is about Superman and Lois, not Justice League and all that stuff. But the last thing I wanted to say is that one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos was in Mallrats, when he was telling the guy that all of the characters that he created, it's like there were reasonings behind, like, the characters, like with Spider-Man, with Bruce Banner, and that's one of the things that I love about Marvel, is that you can relate with these people so much, whereas you can't relate with people in DC.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, and then you can take it away wherever when it's time to wrap. But they are relatable. And then the thing too with what Marvel does is their characters come from all different walks of life. Like, kind of like in DC, they just kind of seem like, they're just kind of there, and then they have these extraordinary powers. But in Marvel, there's more of a origin to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
even with the X-Men, it's just like the X-Men, like, there's somebody on that team that you can relate to because of their struggles that they're going through.
Yeah, or ethnicity,
exactly.
Gender, race.
But,
and that's what Marvel does too, actually. But we don't have time.
Go ahead. And to come full circle, this is what's making Superman and Lois so good. Is because Superman is now relatable. Clark Kent is just a regular dude who turns into Superman every now and again.
Yeah, and he's trying to take care of his family.
That is a good point, because it's like we do see a lot more Clark on this show. Right. Exactly. When he becomes Superman, that's when that's when shit gets done, when he becomes Superman. So,
and on top of that, in the going to the animated stuff, when he's Clark Kent, it just feels like he's going through the motions of trying to hide undercover.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel like he's Clark Kent first, and then Superman, not the other way around.
They aren't doing anything special with the villains. It's more, I love the writing on the show.
Absolutely.
Because it's like you said about the villain, and I was like, dude, he's a nobody, and he made him look like a nobody with the the little sonic gun, and it was cool. He went there to figure it out, and he got rid of him. And then we moved back to Clark. You know, they didn't spend a bunch of time trying to figure out where this guy was, and I like that. I appreciate it. Go back.
I definitely agree with you on that. And something else too, like I like that we're getting like Tag, for example, like the Jonathan and Jordan, like they have to deal with these people,
right?
You know
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty interesting because it takes away from you having to bring in one of Superman's traditional villains and whatnot. And that's one of the good things about the show. So it is cool that like there really isn't a villain of the week, because even on last week's episode, there really wasn't a villain for real. It was just the football episode.
Well, yeah. Your villains are ongoing stories that's being told across multiple weeks versus it's just one and done. And that's what I'm really enjoying.
Exactly.
Lois is dealing with her thing. Superman's dealing with his thing. The kids are dealing with their thing. And then sometimes they come together.
Yeah.
And then eventually Clark seems like he's almost in the background. Like it's the family. Like he says his tidbits in every episode, and then they take it away. And I like that.
You guys think this is the best Lois Lane we've ever gotten in like a live action form?
Woo! We're gonna have to do a breakdown of that, Trav.
I really like Lois Lane on Smallville.
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually she was feisty. She was Lois Lane. I don't know how to say. And I think she did a good job. But this lady is doing a very, very good job
she's
too.
Doing it.
It's close.
I feel like the reason why she's a really good Lois Lane, but I feel like she's not as feisty as the other ones. And the reason why I say that is because she already knows who Superman is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that game of cat and mouse where Clark and Lois, it's like they used to have, but you could kind of see that in the first episode when they first meet each other. Like that was the traditional Lois Lane, where it's just like, she was very feisty, and Clark always had to stay 2 steps ahead of her, so that way that she wouldn't figure out that he was Superman.
And it just seems like this show, the more we watch it, I don't know about y'all, but it almost seems like a passing of the torch. It doesn't seem like this is just Clark's show.
Right.
It seems like he's teaching these guys how to be a hero. Well, in a way, he's teaching them how to be heroes and how to grow up. So
I just can't wait for when this show does eventually end and
see where they go.
All of the characters end up moving over to the Flash, and they join Team Flash.
Why would we end right there? Like,
that's how. And like Iris is going to be their leader.
Hey, Barry's not even going to by the anymore. It's just going to be Iris.
Hey, it's going to be like how
the speedster now.
It's going to be like how Zack Snyder was like. By the time Justice League 3 came out, the Superman and Lois's son was going to be the new Batman, and that's what's going to happen. Jonathan is finally going to be the new speedster.
He's about to move to Gotham.
I gotta say though, if that idea ever would have blossomed,
it would have been bad.
Oh my god, I would have
been a fan of it.
Why would this even happen? It is stupid that this man announced this idea.
He should have just kept that in the pocket. He should have.
He should have kept that at home, bro.
Yeah,
Snyder.
It's like all of the stuff where it was just like in Justice League 2, Superman was going to become a bad guy, and I was just like, nah. He should have went back to the drawing board on that stuff because it's like Justice League was really good.
Zack Snyder reminds me of the old writer for WWE.
Vince Russo.
I can kind of see that. Vince Russo, he has a lot of really good ideas, but he's got all these ideas that are just like no good. And Vince was able to be like, nah, we're getting rid of all these, but we're going to keep these. Zack Snyder got nobody to say, get rid of these ones. You know what I mean? So now we get Vince Russo WCW.
Hey, Zack Snyder, all he needs to do, just bring in your boy Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith will show him the way. Like Kevin Smith will be like, nah, that's not a good idea.
Kevin Smith's gonna be in the background crying.
But I mean, it's cool because it's like every story should be told differently, so that way you get something new here and there. Like I'm not a fan of Batman getting killed by Superman, and then Clark and Lois's son, because he has no powers, he ends up becoming the new Batman. Like,
you just read the comics, people. Do your research. Just stop trying to put your own touches on stuff. Just stop.
Ego.
Yeah, they ain't doing that over Marvel Studios too much, but all right, go ahead, Banks.
All right, let's go and wrap this thing
that's working.
Thank you, everybody, for watching our review for Superman and Lois episode 5. We'll be taking a break from doing these reviews until Superman and Lois comes back in May. But make sure that you check out all of our other videos that we're going to still be releasing and whatnot. And D, go ahead and let them know where they can find you at in social media land.
That's going to be rebellious_D23 at Instagram.com. Trav, take it away.
And you can find me on the Instagrams as well at ZK Audio.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are in need of a hero, where can we find one at Banks?
You can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook by typing in Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again for watching this video. We'll see you on our next one, which will be... What's our next video coming out?
Is it
Promise Neverland?
Falcon Winter Soldier. Falcon Winter Soldier, and then My Hero Academia.
Promise Neverland comes out tomorrow. So yeah, Promise Neverland, Falcon Winter Soldier. We also got Kid Cosmic. Oh, and we also got Close Enough Season 2.
Oh yeah, Close Enough Season 2.
And yeah, My Hero Academia. So we got a bunch of new videos coming out. So make sure that you like this video, you hit the bell button so that way you're always notified, and subscribe to our channel.
That's right.
Keep that pinky up. See you next time. Peace. Thank you for watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure that you hit that like button and you subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content on our channel. Make sure you check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Tuesday, and the video of that episode is uploaded on Friday. And you can find new episodes of our podcast on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow all the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we have a Patreon. If you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, it's at Leveling Up Banks. And huge shout out to our patrons. We really appreciate you and thank you for the support. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.